In this episode, we do some time-lapse fairing work on the boat. We talk about resin, and I get sponsored. We're also going to talk about some future plans for the channel. I'm Brian. Join the adventures as I share what I learned restoring a hurricane-damaged catamaran with the dream to sail the world. So first up to fix today is this crack where I removed the damaged material from the top and filled it from the top, but I need to fill it from the bottom. Now eventually this is going to get fiberglassed. I do this with a mixture of fumed silica, milled fibers mixed into the vinyl ester resin. So I'm coming back to work on this tonight after the epoxy setup from earlier today. You can see how it turned out pretty good. Now keep in mind I'm going to replace all this glass that's under here, not all of it but a lot of it, and especially that, basically anything I can peel off I'm going to peel off and get off and replace, and I've got to replace new stuff here, so this will get tied in and a lot of this stuff will get ground off here. So, but yeah, so I still got to glass it, but I think I'm going to work on glassing the top right now and get that done tonight. So what I'm using to fair the fiberglass are sheetrock knives. And it's because I've done a lot of sheetrock and they work good. I don't know what you're supposed to use. So one of the things that's important when you're fairing is to realize you're not trying to smooth it out first, right? So the steps are flatten and then smooth. And so I'm not really worried about the texture and stuff. And in some ways it actually helps because I think it binds the next layer better. But I'm trying to get it flat, right? Level, not level, but fair and flat, right? So that basically getting rid of the gap and get rid of the high spots. And so that's more important than smoothing. If you try to smooth it too soon, you'll end up sanding waves in it, and that's not what you want. I just arrived at Fiberglass, Florida. I've been talking to Gary, who says he's got something for me, so let's go in and check it out.
Set your viewers up a code that they can use. So if anyone online ever wants to like order thing on the website, if they're coming from your channel, they can save a little bit of money on putting your code in there and everything.
Oh, awesome, awesome, because I know we have a lot of people watching this that are fixing their own boat or are going to fix their own boat. Excellent, well, thanks for the shirts.
Yeah, no problem.
One of the great things about Fiberglass Florida is the awesome advice that they have either in person or over the phone. Now that I'm all stocked up with supplies, I'm ready for the next big projects to get started working on the boat. My pop-up tent that I used to keep the rain out didn't hold up to the wind. So I decided I was going to build a real shelter. It's been raining so much here, I couldn't get any work done this weekend. So I figured I might as well build a shelter that's reusable, lightweight, and I can just move around to the different areas that I'm working on with the boat. While we build this, I thought I'd talk about my plans for the channel. And then you can see what $190 in 2.5 hours will give you as far as a shelter is concerned. Well, I just hit 1 month since I got YouTube monetization, which means that YouTube is paying me to run the ads that they're running on my videos. And I was actually a little surprised. I made enough the first month to pay for almost all of my camera gear that I'd purchased to start making these videos. I think realistically, the only way that I would be able to make more videos or longer videos is for me to move into doing this full time. Right now, I'm pretty maxed out between my full-time job, spending time with my family, and then spending enough time working on the boat to get the footage that I need to make the videos. So if I did do this full time, I could probably make 2 videos a week that would be longer. However, that's going to take about an 8 times growth compared to how my first month went. And that's assuming that the following months will be just as good, because I think I'm already a little bit down. So I don't know how realistic that is. And so what I'll do is I'll just continue making the videos the best that I can. Try to get one a week, but I can't guarantee it. One of the other things is I did set up a Patreon account. I'm a little bit leery of setting up a Patreon account because I can't guarantee that I'll be producing videos every week. But one of the things that I would like to do with Patreon is I would like to set it up as the bonus to take people sailing. And so I think it would be really cool to figure out the bonus and maybe some sort of raffle ticket. And so every time you hit a certain tier, you would get an additional raffle ticket. So when I get the boat done, we could be able to arrange for people to come on sails, day sails, week sails, as we cruise the Bahamas and we cruise some of the different areas in the world. So I think that'd be kind of a fun thing to do with Patreon and a real reward to kind of get people into sailing. I'll also, at that time, I'll have my captain's license for 6 passengers, and probably my ASA sailing certification to teach bareboat sailing. And so there might be some fun stuff to do with Patreon, because I really want to involve people in the community, or in our virtual community, and get them into sailing and get them doing that. So I'm trying to figure that out with Patreon, or any other method that I might come up with, so that we can use this to involve people in sailing. And who knows, if it does take off, and I am able to make enough that I could do this full time, it would be awesome. But until then, I'll just do the best to get out what videos I can. Stay tuned for the section where we're going to start talking about resins. And I had to break it into a couple parts because there's just so much to cover about it. Also, I wanted to say thank you to all the people that are leaving those great comments. It's just an inspiration. If you think I'm an inspiration to you, you're really an inspiration to me. So thank you very much. And please please subscribe, because that's really going to help me succeed in this channel. Also, feel free to share it with people that you think might be interested in it. All right, thanks a lot. This is the first episode talking about the different resins. And we're going to talk about what makes these stronger than one another, and how the flex will affect the final strength of your product when combined with glass. To illustrate how the glass fibers interact with the resin, we're going to use this rubber band and a piece of paper. All materials will stretch before they break. Like this rubber band will stretch a lot, and this piece of paper won't stretch very much before it breaks. So of the resins, how do we know which one is more flexible and which one is less flexible? And then how strong are they? We can pull up the TDS, or the technical data sheets, to see and compare the different products. And there's quite a bit of variation both among the different products as well as the different manufacturers. Because we're not engineering something, we just want to compare products and decide which one's going to be the best for us. We don't need to really dive too deep into that, but there's a couple things we want to understand. And tensile strength is a great thing to kind of estimate the overall strength of the product. And so they measure it in pounds per square inch, and the way that is if you had a piece that was 1 inch solid, like say imagine a 1x1 that was solid of the material, whether it's a solid epoxy or solid vinyl ester, and then you were to pull that apart, how many pounds of force would it take before it ultimately broke? And then how much does it flex before? What percentage of growth does it experience before it actually breaks? Epoxy, around 9 to 14,000 pounds per square inch before it breaks, with about a 4.5% elongation. Vinyl ester, and this is a very high quality vinyl ester. This vinyl ester, 11,500 pounds to pull it apart, with about a 5.2% elongation before it breaks. Polyester, about 7,800 pounds to pull it apart, but here's the real deal, 1.5% elongation before it breaks. The tensile strength on standard E-glass, the one that's commonly used, about 500,000 pounds per square inch to pull it apart, and at about 4.5% elongation before it breaks. In the case of polyester resin, where it's very stiff or very brittle, like this piece of paper, it doesn't stretch very much, the polyester resin breaks way before the glass fibers break, and they'll break as soon as the resin breaks. That's why having epoxy or a vinyl ester resin that has about the same elongation as the glass fibers, right around that 4 to 5% range, they will both stretch to their maximum, and they're both applying their maximum strength to the composite material. Now keep in mind, this is a very simplified version of a very complex engineering concept that I'm certainly not qualified to talk about. But the overall concept, or the takeaway, is that when you match the elongation of the materials, you end up with a lot stronger product. It's one thing to look at the data sheets and say, oh yeah, this is stronger, that's stronger. But really, how do you know? Because a lot of it comes back down to workmanship too. So I got this. This is the first part of my measuring device that will measure how much force it takes to break something. So we're going to make some samples, we're going to break them, we're going to measure it, and we're going to see what really works in the real world and what doesn't work. So stay tuned for those episodes. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Be sure to tune in. We're going to be taking some advice from Fiberglass Florida and learning how to mix gel coats in a future episode. So be sure to click the notification button, because I know a lot of you aren't getting notifications when we launch new videos. All right, thanks a lot, and see you next time.